This is Peter Pure from maxvitality.me, and in this video I'm going to share with you some ideas about how to prevent stroke, heart attack and to massively increase your energy levels. In Great Britain we have 493,000 people who are dying every year, and out of 493,000 deaths, the largest amount of them, the number one cause of death, is 158,084 people dying of vascular deaths. That's heart attack and stroke. That's the number one cause. It even beats cancer. Cancer is only 141,000. Vascular deaths is 158,000. So I would suggest that if you value being alive, it would be pretty prudent of you to make sure you don't die of a heart attack and don't die of a stroke. Because if you die of a heart attack, it'll ruin your whole day. Here is what we can see on the diagnostic, and this diagnostic test is in relation to how you are doing compared to the average person your age. Now remember, the average person your age is going to be on track to dying of heart disease or stroke. And so here we see there's a 35-year-old gentleman, and his vascular health is actually worse than his actual age. So he's aged 35, but he's got the vascular health in relation to the average 36-year-old who's going to be on their way to dying of a heart attack or a stroke. That is not good. I mean, who in the world wants to be average? So let's have a look at how this happens. Throughout our bodies we have tubing, and that tubing is called different names depending on the size and the location. Depending, it could be called a vein, could be called an artery, could be called a capillary or blood vessel. But there's tubing that goes through our body, and when we're born they're pretty clear. But what happens is over time, due to our poor food choices, we end up with fatty deposits in our tubing. We could also end up with hardening of our tubing. Could be a combination of calcification, it could be a case of scar tissue. We can end up with acid crystals going through our tubing, and so what we see is we end up with a furring of our tubing, very much like the furring of a pipe in our house that gets clogged up over time with calcification. And should one of these calyces pop and we end up with a clot, if that's an artery, we're going to call that a heart attack. If that's a vein going to the brain, we're going to call that a stroke. And if that's in the penis, we're going to call it erectile dysfunction. So it's just many different names for all the same thing, which is clogging up of our vascular system. So let's say you did this test with me and you found out that you was absolutely average and completely on track to dying of a heart attack or a stroke, and you're on your way. Well, what could you do to increase your energy, to increase your sex drive and to prevent heart attacks and strokes? Here's something very simple. You can increase the blood flow around your body by clearing out your vascular system. That's sticking to a plant-based diet, and you can also increase the amount of cacao in your diet, which also massively increases blood flow. To give you an example of some of the things that you can do to improve your blood flow, I want to show you how my heart is doing. Here's my age, 39, and in relation to 10,000 people who are average, that's the age of my heart in comparison to the average 14-year-old. So you can safely say that I know a thing or two about how to maintain young at heart and keep blood flow going through my body. And what that means is I am the opposite end of the spectrum. So someone who's dying of a heart attack or a stroke today, I've decided to do the absolute opposite to that. And that means I've got a ton of energy and a lot of oxygen going to my brain to enhance my intelligence and my memory skills. So you can see that very clearly, that equated to a heart blood flow of a 14-year-old as opposed to, there's my actual age, 39. If you would like to find out how you are doing in relation to either heading towards or successfully preventing a heart or a stroke in yourself, then I invite you to come and do a heart test with me so we can check in with your vascular system and see how you're doing and see if you need to improve or if you're on track with living a long, happy, healthy life. Give us a call and we can book you an appointment.